Hey guys, welcome back to Football by Rob. It's Rob here, and in this video, we are going to just do a quick preview on the North London Derby. We'll also go over some news that we have with regards to the Premier League and some news for the French national side as well, who've qualified for the World Cup. And yeah, that's about it. Before I get started, I just want to ask you guys to check out my channel for more content if you'd like. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. Every little bit helps. I also make artwork related t-shirts and prints and stuff, which are mainly football and pop culture centric, F1 as well. And yeah, they're all hand drawn, from reference, no AI. I sell them on a site. I'll be leaving a outro at the end of the video and also a link in the comments. You can check it out from there if you'd like, and it will really help if you consider checking them out. So yeah, that's out of the way. Let's get into the video. So the final international break of 2025 is over, thank God, and we have uninterrupted club football now till March. But it's not looking all that great for Arsenal personally, because even though they're still leading and they have a 4 point lead over City, they have three massive games coming up. And well, to be honest, I'm just a bit worried. I'm nervous because we have Spurs now. That's the North London derby up next. Just go there, and if you see right here, it says that Gabriel might be injured, and he's definitely injured. Sorry, and we don't know who's going to play in left centre back. It could be Hincapie, the new signing that we got from Leverkusen on loan. Problem is, he's an Ecuadorian, so he was away on international duty in the North American centers for games. I think they had a game with Canada, and I'm forgetting who they played. But he was away in North America, so I'm not sure if he's going to be completely match fit and match sharp, considering all the travel that he's had to go through over the last week. Gabriel is out. Calafiori looks doubtful. He was also sent back from the Italian camp, so it's not looking really good. There could be a case where we play Christian Mosquera, even though he's right-footed. And I've been hearing about people say that they should consider putting Saliba to left back and Mosquera to right back, but I don't think that helps because Saliba is going to be the most established centre back in the team, and in my opinion, it makes more sense to just have one player who isn't familiar in the squad as opposed to just shuffling up the entire back line just to accommodate someone else. It makes more sense to play Saliba in right centre back considering it's his strongest position. And if Nkapie is fit, yeah, I would totally be down for him playing left back. Sorry, left centre back. Or else it can be Mosquera. And again, depending on whether Calafiori is injured or not, we'll also have to take a look at who's going to play in the fullback position. Julian Timber apparently had picked up an injury when Netherlands were playing during the international break, but I don't think it was that serious. He just got a cut like on his knee. So hopefully he's fine and he can play because we will need some serious defensive prowess, especially down our flanks, because they have both their wingers or attacking forwards are ones who like to get behind. So personally, I'm not worried about Julian Timber taking on Javi Simmons. They're both Dutch, and I'm pretty sure they're familiar with each other's game as well. So I'm hoping that Timber is going to be fit. But on the off chance that he isn't, if we just see here, yeah, Ben White should be fit. So it makes sense. Now, when I look at Spurs, I'm not really going to take them lightly, to be honest, because I know last season was a really tough season for them. They lost 22 games, and it was only some sort of miraculous divine intervention that they didn't actually get sucked into a relegation battle, in my opinion. Them and Man United, it could have been very different for both of them, if you ask me, had there been competent teams coming up from the championship last season. But that being said, I think this season they have looked relatively impressive. Their form hasn't been that great. I mean, they have 5 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. And if you look at their last 5 games as well, it's a mixed bag. But Thomas Frank is a really capable manager, and I would not be taking him lightly. He has been known to punch above his weight, especially when his team is taking on bigger teams. In fact, this season, I think they have already beaten Man City. I think they got a draw, uh, if I'm not mistaken, at United, and they just narrowly lost out to Chelsea. So they are no pushovers, and it will certainly be a tough contest, given the fact that both teams will be, playing with that derby spirit in them. So I totally understand that you can't make any educated guesses during a derby. But I'm hoping that Arsenal can see it through. It will depend on what sort of team we can play. So if I can come back here, another worry that I have is with the centre forward position, because apparently Victor Gyökeres might not be available. He didn't play for Sweden in the international break. Kai Havertz, who was supposed to be on his way back, apparently has suffered another minor, relapse in his rehab. So I'm not sure what that means. I've just finished watching Mikel's press conference where he's hasn't given a proper timeline on Gabriel's injury as well. I'm sidetracking, but yeah, I just remembered that. And Mikel's basically said that they'll have some more tests for Gabriel next Wednesday, and then that will determine the next course of action. But he is out for a few weeks apparently, as things stand. And yeah, so coming back to the striker situation as well, if we are in a spot where Gyökeres isn't available and your what do I say, Kai Havertz, sorry, if Kai Havertz isn't available, then what do we do? I think personally, Mikel Merino won't be the best option because he is not the kind of centre forward or player profile that you would want in this position to, create a nuisance for the likes of Christian Romero and Nicky Van de Ven. Now, both of them are relatively physical. In Van de Ven's case, he's very rapid as well. So they between the two of them, I can see them canceling Mikel Merino out relatively easily. Now it depends on whether we can create situations where we are putting balls into the box and Merino can win his aerial duels against the centre backs or not. But I wouldn't, um, you know, put my house on him doing that, especially with these two guys, because both of them are known for their box presence. Um, yeah, and the fact that Gabriel isn't there again, it keeps going back to him. The fact that Gabriel isn't available is also going to be a huge uh, detriment to our set piece routines as well, because normally he is the main focal point of that set piece. When it goes into the box, it's either a straight header for him to try and knock into the goal, or a situation where he's either streaking past the near or far post and he's going to knock it back for someone else to pounce. But the fact that he's not there is going to be uh, crucial for us to be very clinical with our finishing, because Gabriel isn't there. Now, again, it depends on whether Hincapié plays or not, because from whatever little I've seen of him, from his Bundesliga highlights and a smattering of Champions League games and stuff that I've seen, Hincapié is really good in the air, and he also can be a threat on the set pieces. My only concern is I'm not sure if he is going to be that in sync with our routines in comparison to Gabriel, who's been at the club for years now. So he's probably uh, more in tune with what sort of ball Saka is going to put in, what sort of ball Declan Rice is going to put in, and how the other players on the pitch and in the penalty box are going to react. So that's going to be the key thing for Arsenal and Arteta to figure out. If I had to look at the lineup, I think yeah, I'd be okay with this sort of backline. If Calafiori is fit, I would want Calafiori playing personally, because I think he has the ball carrying capabilities that Gabriel has. He's also somebody who can more out forward as well. If I'm being absolutely honest, again, I don't mean to disrespect Spurs, but in a situation where Dominic Solanke isn't playing, I'm only fearing Mohamed Kudus when it comes to the finishing point of view. The fact that Dominic Solanke isn't playing and Ronald Kulomani is playing, I think if we have somebody like Calafiori, that allows him to actually venture forward, and he won't have to worry that much about his defensive duties with Calafiori, and you can have Zubimendi stepping back in to help out maybe, or cover the gap while Calafiori provides the extra man, or tries to create a situation that Spurs might not have calibrated for. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. For the midfield, yeah, I'll be okay with this midfield. Again, it's important to see if Martin Odegaard is back or not. I hope that he is at least fit to the point where we can see at least like 15 or 20 minutes from him towards the end of the game. That would be nice to see, because he's just had this really rotten luck with his run of injuries of late, and it would be nice to see him in action where he isn't having pressure to deliver all the time. He can just come, get some match fitness, get some minutes in his legs, kick the ball about, get a few touches, get comfortable, get set in, and then that in turn can be a springboard for the next game, which is the Bayern Munich game in the Champions League over the week. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. For the forward line, I think Trossard, given his form of late, he deserves to retain the left wing spot. Saka's also been coming in to some decent form of late, and him and Eze, they were really good for England during the international break as well. So I'm going to hope that that sort of form carries forward. And like I mentioned, for the forwards, for the centre forward, Mikel Merino won't be my ideal choice. Um, but again, like we are stuck. Who do you play? I would Gyökeres to play ideally if he can. If Jesus is available, I've seen training images and videos of him actually, being involved in team training and actually kicking the ball about with other players as opposed to just training on his own like he has been for so long. But I'm not really sure if he is completely ready. And the last thing Arteta and Arsenal would want to do is rush a player back from such a long injury absence into such a high profile game where challenges are going to be flying in thick and fast. I mean, there's no love lost between these two teams, so it remains to be seen what sort of front line we deploy, especially regarding the striker. But yeah, I think we have enough quality in us to win the game. I'm not going to make a prediction because I'm superstitious like that. Just one of many superstitions that I have with regards to football. But yeah, that's where we are with the game. Now, I also wanted to just quickly touch on the next two games that we have. So that is Bayern Munich here, and then we have, oops, sorry, there we go. We have this Chelsea game right after that. So the Bayern Munich game is going to be another big one. Oh, I'm sorry, I completely missed out on one of the major talking points for the Arsenal Spurs game, and that is the fact that it's going to be refereed by Michael Oliver. Don't even get me started on this man. This man, Michael Oliver, is going to be in charge of Sunday's North London Derby. It'll be the first time that he's been in charge of an Arsenal game since he sent Miles Lewis Skelly off in January. Now, I can't play the clip here because YouTube's already copyright striked one of my videos in the past. But the long story short is Miles Lewis Skelly basically committed a, well, how do you want to, a professional foul, basically, a professional foul. But it was deemed as reckless and endangering the player's safety by Michael Oliver, who produced a straight red card 0. 0.5 seconds after blowing his whistle. Now, whether some fans want to say that yeah, it was a red card or not is a irrelevant topic. I don't want to get into that sort of rage bait argument, to be honest. What I will tell you is that an independent panel of people looking into these sort of dubious refereeing decisions actually looked at that particular incident, and they agreed that it wasn't worthy of a direct red card. That red card was rescinded, and in fact, that the rescinding of that card actually allowed Lewis Kelly to play in the game after this Wolves game, which was Arsenal's home game against Man City last weekend. Sorry, last season. And Lewis Kelly actually scored in that game, and it was 5-1. So it just goes to show that these sort of errors, they might look like small, fine margins, and some people will say, oh, these sort of refereeing errors, they even out over the course of the season. But I would actually beg to differ because there is so many errors in the Premier League, and there's so much inconsistency with the officiating in the Premier League that it's not fair to expect things to even out because it's just not, and it's borderline incompetent. And I don't want to call it corrupt because that will just shake my belief in the game, but sometimes it feels like it is, and that's these are things that the PGML need to look at, in my opinion. But anyway, Michael Oliver, the fact that he's coming back for this game, I think this is the 28th game. So he has not been on any Arsenal game as a referee. He's only been on VAR or something like that for 27 games now. So since he made this incorrect decision, he was not given a single Arsenal game. And for some reason, the PGMOL and Howard Webb have decided that it makes sense to give him an Arsenal game after 28 games, and that game should be the North London Derby. I mean, Charles Watts mentioned this earlier in his videos, where he said, if they wanted to ease him back into the Arsenal rotation, they could have chosen a less high-profile game, like Brentford away maybe or something like that. But the fact that they've chosen to do it, I for one will not be surprised if there are some dubious calls and decisions that go against Arsenal on Sunday. Like it won't come as a shock to me. I'll be like, oh, I'm expecting it. So that's just how it feels, to be honest. There's another chart here. If you look at Michael Oliver has awarded significantly more reds and yellows versus Arsenal than any other team. And also, it has to be mentioned that he has awarded 0 red cards to Man City in his entire time refereeing them. So this is the chart. You can take a look at it for yourself. Michael Oliver also has a history and a proven track record of really questionable decision making when it comes to these sort of high profile games as well. Sometimes he'll be like, "Oh, I didn't want to give a red card, even though the challenge actually merited and deserved one." because he doesn't want to ruin the game. And then there are instances where he almost walks out of his dressing room with his mind already made up that the moment he sees something even close to an infraction or something that he can call petulance or you know, just bad behavior on the part of a player, he's going to produce a red card. So that is where the consistency is lacking, certainly. And Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans already know this because they've been bit by this person already in the past. Arsenal fans are also tired of people like Michael Oliver being considered the best referees in England. I mean, he's not. He might be the most experienced. He's probably been around the block longest, but he's certainly not the best. And if he is the best, I'm sorry, then the the state of refereeing in England and the standards of the PGMOL and the officiating in the game in England in general are basically 6 feet under already, because that's just how it is. Yeah, that's done. Rant done. Let's go back to the other two games that I mentioned. Yeah, so we have Bayern Munich after this, and it will be really important to see how we come out of this game. Again, like I mentioned, Arsenal currently feel like they're just a magnet for injuries. We keep attracting injuries no matter what happens. As things stand, we have way too many injuries. Look at this: doubtful one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, and we don't know who else might be doubtful as well, or what might happen in that Spurs game. And I know that Arsenal have a really stacked squad and everything, but we are going into the crunch period of the season where games are going to come in thick and fast. We are going to go into December, which, while I think we don't have the toughest December schedule, we certainly have a busy schedule when you consider that there will probably be two or three Champions League games also in it as well, right? We might have another Carling Cup game in that as well, with Crystal Palace, which has been rescheduled right before Christmas. So it's going to be imperative to make sure that most of our players are fit. I can understand that two or three players are injured and you'll have to deal with that, but we cannot be having seven, eight injuries on an average, because that is just not conducive to us, you know, burning the candle on multiple fronts and challenging for multiple trophies. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Now, once the Bayern game is done, it will be interesting to see where we are standing after that as well. I think the Bayern game is the toughest game that we will have all season thus far. I think Bayern are a solid team right now. One of the best in Europe. I think they are better than us personally, even though we have a better defensive record. Bayern have just been indomitable in Germany in the Champions League as well. They've been really good. So it's it's something that we need to take seriously. We need to be focused. I'm glad that it's at home. I've also heard that they're planning to put up a decent tifo for a change. Dear God, guys, anybody at Arsenal, if you're watching this, please don't pull out that bloody duvet cover you pulled out for the freaking PSG game. Please don't do that. Okay, don't be embarrassing us on a European night like this. Please, I beg you. Yeah, coming back. I just hope the tifo is good, it's tasteful, and up to the standard of a European level tifo. Hell, I've seen Sunderland produce a better tifo than what we did. So that just goes to show you. The fact that Luis Diaz won't be playing this game for them is key. I think that's massive. But again, like I said, the fact that Gabriel isn't there and they're going to have Harry Kane, who is one of the most informed strikers in the world right now, that's worrying, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not, you know, entirely 100% confident. I'm like that guy from the British MasterChef thing. Oh, I don't get nervous, but I'm starting to get a little bit shaky. It's just like that. That's just how it feels, you know. So it'll be interesting to see where we are out of this. Personally, I think we can win it. But when you have people like Harry Kane in your team, I think Michael Olise also is top. The fact that Manuel Neuer is in their goal, he is a difference maker on his own as well. Everybody who knows Manuel Neuer's game will tell you that he can single-handedly win you games as well. He's like Thibaut Courtois level of individual presence in goal. So I think it's going to be key for us to have our attackers back for that game. And then when we go to the Chelsea game, now, I'm not personally sure what's going to happen. It will again depend on what sort of situation they're in. I do know for a fact that this man is not going to be playing. So Cole Palmer, Enzo Maresca has confirmed this in a press conference today, looking ahead to the weekend's Premier League fixtures, that Cole Palmer is basically out because he stubbed his toe at home and broken it or something like that. So he is not going to play against Arsenal. Now that's confirmed. He's also missing the game Chelsea have against Barcelona in the Champions League as well. So we got some cracking ties this week. We need to do a Champions League video separately, I guess. But yeah, this is a boost for us. Every time Cole Palmer hasn't played against us, we've actually ended up coming out on top over Chelsea. I think 2 seasons ago, also Cole Palmer wasn't available and we slapped them up 5-0 or something, with Kai scoring two, Ben White scoring a couple, and I forget who scored the fifth one. Um, maybe Trossard, I think. Yeah, he probably opened the scoring in that game. But yeah, that's where we're at. Now, yeah, we'll delve into this deeper when we get there. But right now, as things stand, Cole Palmer is going to miss the game against Arsenal, and I think that is a massive boost for Arsenal, especially given the fact that we are also going to be lacking in our attack with the key people missing out. So the fact that one of their key players, one of their mainstays in the league, in the game, in the team, is going to be out, is going to be a huge boost for us. And now, lastly, before we end the video, so France qualified for the World Cup, and it's been no secret that Didier Deschamps is actually going to call it a day with the French national side after the 2026 World Cup, but that will happen in July. However, there have been multiple reports, especially starting with Diario As in Spain, and then subsequently followed up by Fabrizio, where they have said that Zinedine Zidane remains the clear favorite to become the next France head coach after the World Cup. Nothing signed because he respects Deschamps, and he will only talk about it after Deschamps has left. And Federation also focused on the 2026 World Cup, but Zizou is favorite for the next chapter. So that should put an end to any of these rumors and stuff where, desperate Man United fans are going to come and say that, oh, Zidane is going to replace Ruben Amorim and this, that, and whatnot. So let's give it a rest. Zidane only has eyes for one thing now, and I think he will be perfect for the French national team because his Champions League record has proven that he is an absolute top class cup manager. The fact that he's played at the top level and he has this level of gravitas and aura around him will also benefit the French team, who have a lot of talented players, some over inflated egos as well, and it'll be important to have him as a counterweight to keep those egos and those talents in check. Personally, I would have liked it more if Zidane was part of the squad and part of the French national team setup right after Euro 2024, because I think Deschamps had overstayed his welcome massively. Last year's Nations League was also a proof of that. That we just certainly weren't up to the mark, because despite having the level of players that we do in the French national team, the level of output and the way we were playing was not great. Even now, I don't think France are playing too great. They're relying too much on individual brilliance, and a proper, well-regimented team can easily stifle us and beat us. I mean, you look at how Iceland were regimented, and it took special goals and deflected instances for us to actually get something against them. And if we come up against Spain, I don't see us winning. If we come up against Argentina right now, I won't be surprised if they turn us over as well. So you have Brazil with somebody like Ancelotti, who's again, he's like Zidane on steroids basically when it comes to being a cup manager. So I'm not really convinced with France right now. So I would have preferred Zidane be part of the setup from earlier. So by the time the World Cup comes around, he's already got a year and a half, or maybe 2 years and change, with some sort of tournament experience as well, even if it's the Nations League finals. But he has that sort of experience with the team, so he knows what he's dealing with. That being said, again, I'm not going to just crap on Deschamps just like that. He's been an amazing uh, servant to French football. He's both as a player and a manager. He's won the World Cup both as a player and a manager. He's led France to four different competitive finals in his time as manager, and there is still a possibility for a fifth. He's won two of those finals, and yeah, there's very little I can hold against him other than the fact that there have been some instances where we have severely underperformed when compared to the level of talent and potential that we have in the team. So, that being said, I think I'm going to be super stoked when Zidane actually comes in. If he can come in with France having three stars on their chest, nothing like it, but I don't see it happening. But I hope that he will be the one to take us there in 2030. As things stand, I won't be surprised if Ronaldo wins the World Cup, because if you see, I'm seeing the way Donald Trump and Gianni Infantino are moving with regards to Ronaldo. I won't be surprised if there's some Qatar 2022 shenanigans going on with him. But yeah, that's about it, guys. I think I've rattled on for a long time now. I'm gonna try and keep this unedited as best as I can. It's just going to be one flow, so if I've made any errors in the middle, just excuse me. I'm sorry about it. Yeah, what else do I have to say? Please consider liking and sharing and subscribing if you think my content makes sense. If you like what you saw, please uh, let me know. You can leave a like, you can leave a comment if you agree or disagree with me. I'll be there to hear you out, maybe even debate with you, as long as it's spirited and not devolving into personal attacks and stuff like that. And yeah, like I mentioned, if you want to check out my artwork as well, that'd be really helpful. I'll leave a link to it at the end. And that's about it, guys. Please Let me know what you guys think. Okay, that's been it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers. Peace out.